Hello. Today I want to talk to you about the all-new redesigned 2014 Toyota Highlander. Today we're looking at the Highlander Limited, but the Highlander does come in other trim levels. The base level LE, next one up is the LE Plus, then you have the XLE, then the Limited, and now even the Limited Platinum Edition. Let me show you underneath the hood of this one. Most of your Highlanders are going to come equipped with a 3.5 liter V6 engine, which produces 270 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque. All Highlanders have a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, on your all-wheel drive models with the V6 and that transmission, you're going to get 18 city, 24 highway. That power and fuel efficiency is achieved with Toyota's dual variable valve timing with intelligence. What that does is it essentially helps the engine breathe better by constantly changing the timing of the intake and the exhaust valves to get air in and out of the engine most efficiently. You're certainly going to feel the effects of dual variable valve timing when you do drive the vehicle. Standard also on every single new Toyota is Toyota's complimentary maintenance program, Toyota Care. Toyota Care is going to cover your complimentary maintenance services for 2 years and 25,000 miles, and that includes your tire rotations and oil changes. It also includes 2 years and unlimited miles roadside assistance. Something else you're going to find on every new Toyota is Toyota's Star Safety System, and that includes anti-lock brakes, electronic brake force distribution, brake assist, traction control, vehicle stability control, and smart stop technology. Essentially, anti-lock brakes help prevent the wheels or the brakes from locking up so you can steer the car in a panic stop. Brake assist realizes you are in a panic stop and applies full hydraulic pressure to the brakes. Electronic brake force distribution is going to give you braking to where the weight in the car is. So, let's say I'm driving around a corner and braking at the same time. All the weight in the vehicle shifts to either the left or the right. Then I'll just get more braking power to the left or the right side of the vehicle. Or if I have a completely loaded vehicle, family and luggage in this vehicle, I may get more brake pressure to the back of the vehicle. So I'll get optimum braking no matter what the weight situation is inside the car. Traction control quite simply prevents your drive wheels from spinning by cutting back on engine power and applying brakes to spinning wheels. And vehicle stability control, one of the most important features out there, that's going to help prevent your vehicle from skidding sideways. What VSC does is it looks at the angle of the vehicle and where you are steering, and if they don't match, then that means you're skidding sideways. Pulls back on engine power and brakes individual wheels quite harshly to help pivot you back on track and keep you where you are steering. On this vehicle, it also incorporates the all-wheel drive system into the vehicle stability control. Before we get into that, let me tell you how the all-wheel drive system works. The all-wheel drive system in the Highlander is dynamic torque control, similar to system what you have in the RAV4. Here's what dynamic torque control does. On a nice dry day, when I'm driving around my Highlander, I'll have 100% of the power going to the front wheels and no power going to the rear wheels. I can get up to 50% of the power going to the rear wheels instantly and electronically like that in certain conditions. Here are those conditions. First of all, my front wheels start to spin. It senses slippage in the front wheels and instantly, electronically sends power to the rear wheels, up to 50% of the power. The second situation is hard acceleration. If I'm at a stoplight, light turns green, I put my foot to the floor. In anticipation of a loss of traction, I can get up to 50% of the power going to the rear wheels. And the last situation is hard cornering. A lot of people don't know that an all-wheel drive car handles better than a two-wheel drive car, even on dry pavement. So if I start whipping this thing around corners and curves real fast, up to 50% of the power can be sent to the rear wheels. Now, I've said a few times, up to 50%. The best part about this system is, depending on the situation and what you're trying to do with the car, the vehicle will decide exactly how much power you need to go to the rear wheels. In certain instances, it could be 90 and 10 in the back, or 80 and 20, or 70 and 30, so forth and so on, for a maximum of 50% of the power going to the rear wheels. So the bottom line is you're going to get the ultimate amount of four-wheel drive in any given situation without you having to do anything. It just makes you a better driver. I can even lock this vehicle into four-wheel drive for a 50-50 split, and that works up to 25 miles an hour. Now with my vehicle stability control, if the VST goes off, it could send power to the rear wheels to help push that vehicle through the turn. Helps it handle very well in those kind of situations. On the front of the vehicle here, you see I've got fog lights down here and LED daytime running lamps. Those are standard on the Limited. You'll also find fog lamps on your XLE model. As far as the wheels go, you have standard alloy wheels on all Highlanders. The LE, LE Plus, and XLE have standard 18-inch alloy wheels, and the Limited Platinum have standard 19-inch Chrome Tech wheels, as you see over here. Looking at the mirrors, all Highlanders have heated side view mirrors. They also fold in and out and have an integrated turn signal. These bumps here at the top of the mirror help reduce wind noise. That's one of the things you're going to find is one of the strongest attributes of this vehicle is how quiet it really is. These little bumps are going to help prevent some of that wind noise from going around the side view mirrors. You may also notice this little bump here on the back or behind the side view mirror. You're going to find the same one on the side of the tail lamp. These are known as vortex generators. What a vortex generator does is it helps keep the vehicle stable on the road. Here's why. As you drive down the road, particularly at higher speeds, your vehicle's punching a hole in the air, and that air is creating a bubble around the car. What this does is it creates a vortex or a swirl of air, beginning here, running down the side of the vehicle down to the tail lamp. And the faster you go, the tighter this swirl or vortex of air gets on the sides of the vehicle to help create stability at higher speeds. Moving to the passenger side of the vehicle here. Your seating surfaces, you're going to have standard cloth seats on your LE. You're going to have cloth and soft tex on LE Plus, and XLE Unlimited and Platinums are going to have standard leather seats. Power passenger seat here is standard on your Limited and your Limited Platinum. Couple of cool features on the inside as far as storage goes. There's a tremendous amount of storage in this vehicle. You've got a tray that runs alongside the middle and the right-hand side for storing things like cell phones or what have you. You're going to see the inside of the center console when you go inside of the vehicle, but the center console in this car holds 24.5 liters. It's big enough to hold most handbags or anything else you want to throw in that center console. Looking at the back seat, of course, privacy glass here is standard on your Highlanders. On your XLEs, your Limiteds, and your Limited Platinums, you have a retractable shade here in the back, which is great for children. Something great for 2014 is the Highlander now is an 8-passenger vehicle. Standard. LE, LE Plus, and XLE have 8 passengers. 2 in the front, 3 here with a bench, and 3 in the third row. This vehicle is equipped with captain's chairs because captain's chairs are standard on Limited and Limited Platinum and optional on your XLE. But the functionality is pretty much the same. You can still fold it forward to get to the back seat or the third row, like this. They fold flat, like this. And then if I'm sitting in the seat, I can move the seat back and forth to create more room in the back. And I can also recline the seat. So a tremendous amount of versatility in the second row. Moving to the back. LE Plus and Up have a number of features back here. First of all, pop-up glass. I push this button right here. This glass pops up. That's going to be standard on your LE Plus and above. So I can just throw objects back here without having to open up the rear hatch. LE Plus and above also have a power hatch. By the touch of a button, the hatch comes up. I can adjust the height of this hatch as far as where I want it to stop by programming it with this button right here. And now I see the third row. If I put this third row down, you notice I have an enormous amount of cargo space back here. The space between the third row seats and the back of the vehicle for 2014 has been increased by 6 inches. So I now have cargo space when I have the third row seat up. You also have a 60-40 split seat in the third row. As I mentioned before, you can fit 3 passengers in the third row, and that was achieved by reconfiguring the rear suspension in the Highlander. That rear suspension is now a double wishbone suspension, which creates a wider space for the third row seat. It also makes the vehicle handle a lot better. You notice how easy it is to put these seats down. And if you are a passenger in the seat, they can also be reclined. So again, tremendous amount of versatility even in the third row. Moving to the left side of the vehicle. Your XLE and your Limiteds and Limited Platinums are going to be equipped with Smart Key. So you have a key fob in your pocket, you approach the vehicle, you touch the driver's door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. Now, if you would join me inside the car, there's a number of features I want to show you inside. Now I'd like to talk about some of the new interior features you're going to find in the 2014 Highlander. Let's start off with the seats. As I mentioned before, XLEs and up have standard leather seats. I've got a power driver seat on an LE Plus and above, and a power passenger seat on Limiteds and above. Heated seats on XLEs and above, and perforated ventilated seats on Limiteds and above. I even have a power seat cushion extender on my XLEs and above. So with the touch of a button, I can extend the length of this seat cushion, give myself more knee room. I've got driver's side memory seat on my Limited, so I can program up to 2 different positions for the driver's seat right here. Now let's talk about blind spot monitoring. Blind spot monitor is standard on Limiteds and Limited Platinums. What that gives you is a little orange light on the side of the side view mirror. It looks like that. And that light now is going to come on when there is a vehicle in my blind spot. If I turn my turn signal on to switch lanes, well, that light is going to blink if the car is still there, letting me know I shouldn't switch lanes, there's a car in my blind spot. I also get rear cross traffic alert with this system. So when I go ahead to back up out of a driveway or a parking spot, if there is somebody coming perpendicularly to me, well, then those 2 lights are going to come on and it's going to beep inside the car, letting me know there's somebody coming, I shouldn't back up. And speaking of backing up, on your Limiteds, you've got rear sonar park assist as well. So I go to back up, there's an object behind the car, sonar is going to pick it up, and it's going to beep inside the vehicle. And also, speaking of backing up, standard on all Highlanders is a standard backup camera, which is going to show up on the head unit of the car when you put it in reverse, just like that. Another cool feature you're going to find on all Highlanders is a windshield wiper de-icer. So the bottom of the windshield can heat up and I can defrost my windshield wipers. Something else cool on the Highlanders is a multi-information display in the center of the gauge cluster between my tachometer and my speedometer. My LE and my LE Plus are going to have a 3.5-inch black and white display showing things like range to empty, average gas mileage, and my XLEs and above are going to have a 4.3-inch color display, which will show things like my average fuel economy and distance, like the other one does, as well as a compass, speed limit on a particular road, and navigation information, information from my audio system, and any error messages that may come up. On the steering wheel here, I have audio buttons on the left side of the steering wheel and my multi-information display controls here on the right side of the steering wheel. I have a push-to-talk button, which is going to allow me to give commands to my head unit based on whatever head unit I have, and my Bluetooth buttons. Now, speaking of head units, My base head unit on my base car, my LE, is called Entune Audio. Entune Audio standard on my LE, and what that's going to give me is a 6-inch touchscreen display, backup camera as you saw, AM, FM, CD, standard Bluetooth streaming audio, text messaging, as well as voice commands for my phone and a USB port. The next head unit up is standard on my LE Plus, and that is called Entune Audio Plus. That's still going to be a 6-inch screen, but it'll give me better graphics. It'll add high definition radio, Sirius XM satellite radio, enhanced voice recognition, so it'll operate all aspects of the head unit, as well as high definition traffic and weather. It's the only head unit on the market right now that will give you traffic and weather without having to have navigation. As long as the vehicle's picking up a high definition radio signal, I can get traffic and weather. The next head unit up from that is the Entune Premium Audio System with navigation and the Entune app suite. That's standard on your XLEs and above. What that's going to give you is obviously navigation and voice commands to go along with your navigation. It'll give you the Entune app suite, which is Bing.com, OpenTable.com, MovieTickets.com, iHeartRadio.com, Pandora.com, Yelp.com, and Facebook Places, as well as additional information services, not just traffic and weather, but sports, stocks, and traffic in addition, sports, stocks, and fuel prices in addition to my weather and traffic. I'm also going to get cache radio on this head unit. And cache radio gives me the ability to pause any AM or FM station. Also, go back up to 20 minutes and listen to that content on that AM or FM station. Something else you're going to get on the Entune Premium Audio and XLEs and up, which is called Driver Easy Speak, and this is only on the Highlander. What Driver Easy Speak does is when you speak to your passengers in the back of the vehicle, you've got to turn around like this so they hear you. Well, with Driver Easy Speak, with the touch of a button on the head unit, it turns on my Bluetooth microphone up here. It'll pick up my voice and then send my voice to the rear speakers. So I'm not going to have to turn to speak to the passengers in the back of the vehicle, and I can keep my eyes on the road. Up here's another cool feature as far as looking at passengers in the back seat of your car. You have a conversation mirror where you would store your sunglasses. So right here, I've got a mirror which is going to show the passengers in the back of my car. Great if you have kids or if you just like to know what's going on in the back of your vehicle. Moving down here to the heating and air conditioning controls, I have analog heating and air conditioning controls on my LE, and my LE Plus and up has 3-zone climate control. So I can set the temperature for the driver's side, for the passenger side, as well as the second row of the vehicle. And there are separate controls back there for the second row. As far as storage goes, there's a great storage story in the 14 Highlander. I've got a tray that runs along the middle of the dashboard here, has 2 partitions so things and objects don't slide around. It's also leather-like material, so it sticks in there, but it's a great place to put your cell phone. I can also run the wires to my phone through these partitions and put it into the charging station down here. The center console is a roll-top console and will hold up to 24.5 liters of whatever you want. Holds most purses, most handbags, or whatever you want to stick in here. It is a roll-top, but another great thing about it is even when it's opened up, it's padded on either side, so I still have the functionality of an armrest when my center console is completely open. I've got a sunroof on my XLEs and above, and on my Platinum Edition, I have a panoramic roof, which is going to give me a whole glass roof right here. That Platinum Edition is also going to add in a heated steering wheel, heated rear seats, as well as a driver technology package, which includes my dynamic radar cruise control and my lane departure warning. A couple of buttons I just want to point out that are on the 14 Highlander. First of all, your snow button. What that's going to do is reduce the likelihood of spinning wheels when it's slippery out. And how it does that is it reprograms the transmission so that it's going to upshift sooner so the RPMs don't go as high before it upshifts. It does make the vehicle feel slower but it does reduce the likelihood of slipping your wheels in wet or slippery weather. Downhill assist control. What downhill assist does, it's like cruise control for going downhill really slowly, 2 to 3 miles an hour. Most people use it if they've got a very steep driveway that's snow covered or a steep side street that's snow covered. It works in forward and reverse. You hit the button, you can now go down this hill very slowly with the vehicle using ABS and engine braking, and the driver does not have to touch the pedals in order to do that. All they do is steer. And of course I can lock my my four-wheel drive system for a 50-50 split with the button down there as well. I've got my 6-speed automatic transmission here with sequential shift on all Highlanders. That pretty much sums up the features of the interior of the 2014 Highlander. We hope you learned a lot, and of course, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.